Hmm. We were discussing note making, paraphrasing, etc. yesterday. To understand any given passage, whether it is a speech based on which you have to do the questions, or whether it is a direct unseen passage, or a comprehension, or a paraphrasing, a direct question on paraphrasing. Remember, all these methods we have learned here of summary, of paraphrasing. Paraphrasing, remember, it is rewording, it is not interpretation or explanation. Now, once you know the original text, right, you have read the original passage from A to Z, you know what the writer wants to say, okay, or the writer is saying, then we will move on to the explanation part or the interpretation part, which we call closed reading. Okay, so close reading, as the term tells us, it is it is it definitely has different stages, no doubt about it. But yes, apart from, so first stage of your close reading means you're not just satisfied with the surface meaning, you are trying to go deeper, delve deeper, and apart from the literal meaning, you are trying to find out the suggestive meaning, the symbolical meaning, the irony, or the different figure of speeches that are used, whether we call it the tone or the mood of the poem or the prose text, right? All these we try to find out. Okay, so yes. So when we are reading a passage or a speech as you are supposed to read for your assignment, first thing you do, try to attempt a paraphrasing, right? Paraphrasing means a rewording of what the writer has said. Then you move on to a proper explanation of it, a proper interpretation of it. How will you interpret it? Try to know the meanings. Remember, there are words which may have literal meaning, both literal meaning and suggestive meaning. So try to find out if there are words used that could have literal meaning and suggestive meaning both. For example, in the poem "Woods are lovely, dark and deep, I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep." Sleep word has two meanings, right? Physical sleep and the permanent sleep. All right. So similarly, we have to try to find out in the given passage the use of irony, the use of figure of speeches, and if there are words that may have uh, layers of meanings, the message we get, and the tone or the mood of the entire passage or the speech, whether this is humor, satire, sarcasm, or there is some sort of um, the tone is optimistic, negative thoughts, positive thoughts, whatever it is. So we are moving on to a proper interpretation. Just for example, Instead of repeating, going on with this one, if we could take up the same one, would thou lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep. Here we had done only paraphrasing, but when you have to attempt a proper explanation or interpretation of it, you can say that the woods or the forests are the lovely woods are the symbolical representation of, or a metaphorical representation of, the temptations we are likely to have during our life's journey, the temptations which may be captivating but at the same time are likely to distract us or uh, deviate us from our given goal or the goal that we have set for our life. So, this is not just a physical journey, this physical journey is transformed into a sort of life's journey, or say the spiritual journey. And miles to go, the repetition of the lines also, the reiteration of the thought also, we can interpret it that uh, the first sleep is a physical sleep, the second is a permanent sleep. So first and miles to go, first usage of and miles to go before I sleep denotes the physical journey that the poet has undertaken, but the second denotes his life journey where he wants to continue making efforts before he efforts to reach to the goal he has set for his life, the commitments he has made in his life before he. So this is the interpretation. This is not paraphrasing. And how were we able to interpret it? Because we have first done the paraphrasing, we know its literal meaning. So we, until and unless we know the literal meaning of the given passage, we will not be able to find the layers of meaning or the suggestive meaning it has. And here also, the literal meaning is entirely different from the suggestive meaning it has. Where he's trying to, this daffodils could be any sight of beauty, anything of beauty, which is a source of eternal pleasure. Pleasure. Why? Because we have that inward eye. Inward eye is your power of imagination, which functions, which is the bliss of solitude, means even when you are in a state of solitude, you are lonely. So, this is the layer of interpretations we have got where he says that the source of beauty, a beautiful sight, is like a blessing for a pensive mood. So, whenever you are sad or dejected or in a thoughtful mood, these beautiful memories or beautiful sights will become a source of pleasure to you. So, he being a harbinger of nature, a worshipper of nature, praises the beauty of nature here so that we can mm, assess or interpret. All right. So, for the OB questions also, right? If you get a speech, for example, um, a speech or any passage, and based on that, if you have to either say give a paraphrasing, or you will have to just wait for a while. So I'll try to look for, try to find out the last 2 semesters OB question paper, which I think I have in the WhatsApp group. But right now, I want to move on to translation, because this is again a very small topic, translation. And once we are done with that, because for the last 2 semesters, we are not getting questions on translations. Maybe the direct questions from Hindi to English or English to Hindi, we are not getting, but maybe so. Like when we had the physical exams, for which that question paper also I'll share with you, apart from the OBE one. So probably tomorrow, in tomorrow's class, we'll discuss the question paper also. I'm going to show you the question paper for the physical exam and also of OBE. So we were to identify the different elements of translation from the given passage. But this time, we never know what kind of questions we are likely to get. So we'll just go through the entire information that is needed. Sharing this. Okay, so we'll move on to translation. Now, interesting, of course, it is. We know India is a multilingual country, and mostly, I mean, most of us are bilingual, and some of us are multilingual also. So, in a country like India, we cannot deny the importance of translations. But to start the process of a translation, first thing we need to know is what is translation. So, translation is a process when you try to change the language of the original content from one to the other, which means when we are into the process of translation, we have two languages. One is the source language, and the other is the target language. The source language and the target language. Source, as the term tells us, is the original language of the given content, right? Suppose right now I'm talking to you in English, so this is the source language. And if you try to translate the same into Hindi, so Hindi becomes the target language, means the original language of the content is source language, and the language in which the content is converted is the target language. So This process of changing the language of the content from the source language to the target language is called the translation. Now, in a translation, we have different forms of translation. Like, for example, we have code switching and code mixing. What is a code switching? See, because most of us are bilingual, so it is quite possible that we keep talking to one person in one language and then shifting to the other language when you want to address another person, right? Suppose you are talking to your uh, teacher, right? So you are addressing your teacher in English, and then if you want to address your younger brother or sister, so immediately you will change your language to your mother tongue, and you will address your family in your mother tongue. This is called code switching. So in the same, suppose in one uh, conversation dialogue which is given here, suppose there are three people. So first person would talk to the second person in one language, and suppose like we have A, B, and C. So A and B are talking to each other in English. Then C also joins their conversation, and suppose he comes from uh, a region where he does not understand English or does not understand Hindi, then you will have to change the language. You have to switch over to another language to make him understand. Suppose you are A is saying to B, hello, how are you? B will say, I'm good, how about you? And suppose A asks C, और C भाई आप कैसे हैं? आपका क्या हाल चाल है? So this is code switching, right? So not necessarily नहीं आता, but once you change your language from one language to the other completely in the same conversation, एक ही conversation में अगर आप दो लोगों के लिए दो languages use कर रहे हैं, right? So this is code switching. But when do we call it code mixing? When suppose in the same dialogue, in one set of dialogues, we are mixing as the term says, right? Switching may we are completely switching over to another language. Mixing, we are mixing two or more languages. So suppose we have a dialogue between two friends where, and this code mixing is very common these days. The most commonly used, because most of us are bilingual. So sometimes we don't even know the alternative version of that. So suppose A is saying, I have just given the beginning because the exercise you will have to complete. Suppose you ask, A asks B, hi, are you planning to go to college today? So B's answer would be, nahi, I don't want to go. Or nahi, mm, uh, at least not today, मेरा मन नहीं है. So in one dialogue, you have mixed two languages. ठीक है? So now we'll move on to the types of translation. But first, I just want you to quickly complete this dialogue where you will illustrate code switching. Can anyone prepare an example of code switching? I hope you have understood what I have said about code switching and code mixing.
Ma'am,
Is there any confusion about code mixing or code switching?
Yes, ma'am. Code switching not clear.
Code switching.
Yes, ma'am.
Once again, we'll see once again. Switching means you are completely switching over to another language. सपोज आप अभी हिंदी बोल रहे थे तो आप कंप्लीट आप दूसरे पर्सन से बात करेंगे तो आप यू आर कंप्लीटली यूजिंग इंग्लिश. तो आप एकदम से हिंदी से यू हैव स्विच्ड ओवर टू इंग्लिश एंड देयर शुड नॉट बी अ मिक्सिंग ऑफ द टू लैंग्वेजेस. ठीक है, अगर आप हिंदी बोल रहे हैं तो आप प्योर हिंदी ही बोल रहे हैं. इफ यू आर स्पीकिंग इंग्लिश इट शुड बी प्योर इंग्लिश ओनली. No blend of, no mixing of any other words of any other language. Are you getting my point?
Ma'am. Ma'am.
हाँ, yes, please speak up.
मैम अगर किसी व्यक्ति से जैसे बात कर रहे हैं, पहले हिंदी में कर रहे हैं, फिर बाद में पूरी तरह इंग्लिश बोल रहे हैं, तो वो कोड स्विचिंग कहलाएगा.
This is code switching. This is exactly what code switching is.
और मैम पहले किसी एक व्यक्ति से हिंदी में बात कर रहे हैं, दूसरे व्यक्ति से इंग्लिश में बात कर रहे हैं, तो वो भी
देखो,
code switching होगा.
एक मिनट, आप पर्सन सेम हो सकता है, ठीक है, बट एक पूरा पूरा सेंटेंस आपने बोला हेलो बी, हाउ आर यू, एंड बी सेज आई एम गुड, हाउ अबाउट यू. फाइन, दिस complete sentence is in English, isn't it? This sentence is in English. So, and suppose you ask him, क्या तुम कॉलेज जाओगे? एक ए ने अगर पूछा क्या तुम कॉलेज जाओगे, तो ये एकदम इंग्लिश से प्योर हिंदी आ गया ना. दिस इज कॉल्ड कोड स्विचिंग. बट अभी आप बोले व्हाट डू यू थिंक, हमें कॉलेज जाना चाहिए, सो दिस इज मिक्सिंग, क्योंकि एक ही सेंटेंस में आपने दोनों लैंग्वेजेस को मिक्स कर दिया, तो कोड स्विचिंग हो गया. बट आपने बिल्कुल एंटायरली आपने क्या किया, एक लैंग्वेज से दूसरे लैंग्वेज में स्विच ओवर किया विदाउट मिक्सिंग. एक सेंटेंस में, एक कॉन्वर्सेशन में आपको मिक्स नहीं करना है, फिर तो वो कोड स्विचिंग है.
मैम.
यस.
मैम अभी जो आपने कहा था व्हाट डू यू थिंक, क्या मैं कॉलेज जाना चाहिए, ये कोड स्विचिंग होगा, कोड मिक्सिंग होगा?
कोड मिक्सिंग है ना, क्योंकि एक ही सेंटेंस में, एक ही डायलॉग में अपने दो लैंग्वेजेस को कर दिया, तो कोड मिक्सिंग हो गया.
ओके मैम.
अभी इफ यू कैन कंप्लीट कोड स्विच एग्जांपल फॉर कोड स्विचिंग एंड कोड मिक्सिंग. Don't waste too much time because we will take types of translations also.
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, like in codes switching, as you have presented the screen, ma'am, उसमें है कि A is talking to B in English, then he will switch to another language while talking to C. So it is necessary कि code switching में हम दूसरे person से बात करें तभी वो switching कहलाएगा.
नहीं, अभी तो जस्ट व्हाइल अगो आई सेड द सेम थिंग ना. सपोज मैं आपसे ही पूछ रही हूँ कि वेट अ व्हाइल, लेट मी, हाँ, आयुषी, यस. So if I ask you, Ayushi, have you completed your assignment? So this is English.
Yes, ma'am.
And then I say, Ayushi, deadline over हो गया है. When will you submit it? This is mixing. ठीक है?
Yes, ma'am.
ठीक है? And suppose I say one sentence, Ayushi, when are you going to submit your assignment? And then the second line, आपको जल्दी सबमिट करने को क्या बोलते हैं? I don't know.
जमा.
हाँ, जल्दी जमा करना पड़ेगा. तो फिर ये स्विचिंग हो गया ना. एक पूरा
Yes,
कंप्लीट सेंटेंस हमने इंग्लिश में बोला और सेकंड सेंटेंस इज इन हिंदी. सो दिस इज स्विचिंग. पर्सन इज सेम. बात तो मैं आपसे ही कर रही हूँ ना.
yes, ma'am.
हाँ. फिर हमें क्या फोकस करना है? यूज ऑफ लैंग्वेज पर फोकस करना है बस. पर्सन्स, नंबर ऑफ पर्सन्स 2 है. 3 मैंने इसलिए लिखे कोड स्विचिंग के लिए ताकि हम जब एग्जाम्पल क्रिएट करें तो हमें कंफ्यूजन नहीं हो, बस उसके लिए। डू टेल मी व्हेन यू आर रेडी विद योर आंसर्स। बहुत लेंदी नहीं आप बनाइए, बस जहां पर एग्जाम्पल जहां से क्लियर हो जाए वहीं पे छोड़ दीजिए। I could not find anyone. Yeah. No one is here for. No one is there waiting. I I'm sure you are also able to see the screen. And no one is waiting here. What happened? How much time will you take? I just send you three question papers, two of OBE, one of physical exam. We will take up the same in the classroom as well. But before that, I want you to show me the examples of code mixing and code switching. Don't write very long sentences. What are you doing up till now? So shall I ask you call you by your names? Okay, Baldev, if you are ready with your answer. Shahnawaz, Aman, anyone who is ready with the answer. Most of you are leaving scared like children. Yes, please. Anyone? I'm waiting for your answer. Otherwise, I am going to move on to the types of translation.
Ma'am, am I audible?
Yes, please.
Okay, ma'am, I have prepared a short one. Ma'am, I'm starting from the next paragraph. I'm a little unwell after that I'm starting. So A
So
says,
you are giving example of code mixing or code switching.
ma'am, code switching.
Okay.
A says, hello C, you are also here. How are you? He says, मैं ठीक हूँ. तुम दोनों आज कॉलेज गए थे? Then B says कि हाँ मैं कॉलेज गया था. And then A says, no, I didn't went to college today.
Didn't go to college. Do, does,
Ma'am,
did
yes,
we use
didn't
verb
go.
in the
Yes,
first
ma'am.
form?
Didn't go to college.
ठीक है. Oh, all right. Anyone who has done for code mixing?
मैम
Yes.
मैम कॉलेज कहेंगे या महाविद्यालय कहेंगे?
हाँ, अभी इतना ज्यादा तो हिंदी तो मुझे भी उतनी नहीं आती है, बट हाँ ठीक है. महाविद्यालय अगर आप बोल सकते हैं तो एकदम शुद्ध हिंदी. ठीक है, इतना स्ट्राइक नहीं जल्दी से करता है ना. महाविद्यालय तो हम सबको मालूम है, बट स्ट्राइक नहीं करता है. ठीक है, कॉलेज भी चल जाएगा, बट यू आर राइट, महाविद्यालय ही बोलेगा. Anyone else?
Ma'am, I've prepared for the code switching actually.
Okay, go ahead, Rajshri.
A. Oh, wait a second, ma'am. Oh, can you present your screen again, please?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. A. Hello, B. How are you? B. I'm good. How about you? A. I'm a little unwell. B. Sorry. A. I'm feeling a bit feverish. B. So have you? I'm sorry, ma'am. I'm messing it up. Wait a second.
No, ठीक है.
I'm gonna start it again.
Hmm.
Okay. A. Hello, B. How are you? B. I'm good. How about you? A. I'm a little unwell. A. I feel a bit dehydrated. B. ठीक है ये लो पानी पियो. A. धन्यवाद. B. You should always be hydrated. You should take care of this. A. अगली बार से मैं ध्यान रखूंगा. B. ये हुई ना बात. A.
हाँ, गुड एग्जाम्पल. ठीक है. नाउ इट्स क्लियर. तो उतना ज्यादा भी पढ़ने की जरूरत नहीं. हम at least we are in a position to understand what code switching is. We are completely switching over to the other language. ठीक है. Mixing is in the same sentence you are blending two languages. If anyone has done for mixing,
मैम लाइक जैसे मैंने भी कहा था कि कॉलेज एंड स्कूल, तो मैम हिंदी में भी हम जैसे कॉलेज एंड स्कूल वर्ड यूज करते हैं, तो आई थिंक
करते हैं. हाँ, डेफिनेटली. क्योंकि अभी ना there are so many words which are equally being present in Hindi language. There are so many words जो English के भी words है वो हम हिंदी में predominantly we use. So we do not consider it exclusively as a Hindi word or an English word. तो ऐसे words हैं जिसमें कि even हिंदी के भी some around 2500 to 300 words जो हिंदी के words हैं वो Oxford Advanced Learners Dictionary में added हैं. तो वहां पर थोड़ा सा डिमार्केशन करना मुश्किल हो जाएगा. बट जहां पर बिल्कुल ऑब्वियस है कि ये हिंदी के वर्ड है तो वहां तो हम केयरफुल होएंगे ही. Anyone else, or shall I move on to the types of translation? Anyone, if you have done for code mixing, you can even read your answers tomorrow. I won't mind. I'll move on to types of translation. I hope you all will agree that for translation, the first basic requirement is that a translator must be well versed in both the source language and the target language. Then we can move on to the process of translation. When we attempt a translation, the first method is word-to-word translation, which we call as literal translation, right? Means we are not supposed to miss even a single word, including the tense, the meaning. Everything should have an exact equivalent of the source language. So when you are changing it into a target language, so we will have to find the exact equivalent, चाहे वो tense हो या words के equivalents हो. So this is a word-to-word translation. But every time, word-to-word translation will not serve the purpose. There are so many expressions, so many words which are exclusively the part of certain languages, which cannot be literally being changed into the other language, or which cannot have an exact equivalent in the source language. For example, if it is idioms, phrases, बहुत सारे ऐसे मुहावरे होते हैं, कहावतें होती हैं जिनका बिल्कुल एग्जैक्ट इक्विवेलेंट अगर आप ट्रांसलेट करने की कोशिश करेंगे तो कुछ का कुछ हो जाएगा, अर्थ का अनर्थ हो जाएगा. So we are not supposed to be that kind of hair splitter where every time we will have to go for a word to word meaning, word to word translation. But yes, translations have different types. One basic one is the word to word translation, where we will try to find the literal equivalent or the exact equivalent of the source language. Then we have a semantic translation also. Semantic translation is sense by sense translation, means where the expression will convey the meaning. Suppose किसी ने ईद का चांद बोला, तो उसको हम लिटरली तो नहीं ट्रांसलेट कर सकते ना, मून ऑफ ईद तो नहीं बोलेंगे टू कन्वे द मीनिंग. ईद का चांद का मतलब समथिंग दैट इज रेयरली सीन, राइट? सो फॉर दैट द equivalent in English is once in a blue moon, isn't it? So जहां पर हम सेंस को कैप्चर करेंगे, जब हमको इडियम्स या फ्रेजेस इस तरह से कभी ट्रांसलेट करने हो, जिनके फॉर एग्जांपल वी डू नॉट हैव अ लिटरल इक्विवेलेंट फॉर दैट, so we capture the sense or the meaning of the expression, and we try to find an equivalent for that. For example, we have like once in a blue moon. Suppose you have to translate man of words, not deeds, or it was raining cats and dogs, or blood is thicker than water. So will you be able to find an exact equivalent? Which kind of translation will help you to find the correct meaning, whether it is the semantic one or the literal one? So once in a blue moon का मतलब अगर आप हिंदी में ट्रांसलेट करने बैठेंगे तो ब्लू मून में एक बार, you know, we all know what blue moon is, which is very rarely seen. ठीक है? So once in blue moon is like ईद का चांद ही उसका अल्टरनेटिव हिंदी में होगा. हम लिटरली ट्रांसलेट करेंगे तो we will not get the correct alternative for that. Similarly, man of words and deeds, words not deeds, और जैसे बातों के वीर बोलते हैं, और इट वाज रेनिंग कैट्स एंड डॉग्स, बहुत हेवीली रेनिंग, मूसलाधार बारिश जिसको बोलते हैं, सो उसके लिए हम यूज करते हैं इट वाज रेनिंग कैट्स एंड डॉग्स. देन ब्लड इज थिकर देन वाटर अगेन. सो these are some kinds of expressions for which we capture the sense, because every time we do not have to be like hair splitters going mad for the literal translation or a word to word translation, right? So two forms we have got to know. One is literal, the other is sense by sense translation, which is known as semantic translation. We have literary translations as well. So suppose we are translating poems, we are translating dramas, short stories, novels, epic. Visually also, it should look like this is a poem. अगर आप poem को translate कर रहे हैं, it should look like a poem itself. ऐसा नहीं कि आपने translate करने के चक्कर में poem को prose बना दिया, essay बना दिया. So literary translation has a limitation of keeping the literary standards, literary formats, literary devices in mind. Similarly, if it is a drama, we know in a drama the characters directly appear on the stage or in the scene, and through the exchange of dialogues between the characters, the drama develops, which means the dialogue form you will have to use here. You are not supposed to write it like an आप drama translate कर रहे हैं, so you are not supposed to write it or present it like an essay thinking that you will get the marks. Translation तो आपने कर दिया. So literary translation has its own limitations. If you're translating an epic, Ramayana, Mahabharata, again it has its own limitations. It will have quatrains, it will have couplets, quatrains जिसको कि 4-line stanza, which is chaupai जिसको बोलते हैं. Then we have couplets, doha. So it has its own limitations which we have to follow, right? So that is called literary translation, keeping in view the literary formats, devices in mind, we will translate. We know in poems we have lines, we do not have sentences. In prose, we have sentences. So line by line translation will be done for a poem. Line by line translation should be done so that when you are attempting it, when you are presenting it, even visually also, देखने से मालूम चले कि हाँ ये आपने poem लिखी है या translate की है. Then we have official or administrative translations. So, for example, we have some business letters, official letters, or even FIRs, or say affidavit we translate करते हैं ना. Yeah, for example, some legal papers are also, some copies of petitions are also translated. So they will have official or administrative translation. Why do we call it so? Because it will again have a definite format. And apart from the content, apart from the sense you have captured or word to word translation you have done, you will have to keep the format. जैसे affidavit का format होता है, right? जैसे लेटर का फॉर्मेट होता है, तो आपने लेटर तो ट्रांसलेट कर दिया बट उसका फॉर्मेट उड़ा दिया, तो नोबडी विल मेक इट आउट कि आपने ये लेटर ट्रांसलेट किया था, क्योंकि ऑफिशियल डॉक्यूमेंट की तरह से ही होना चाहिए. लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल, इफ इन अ कोर्ट केस you have to give a translated copy of the FIR ओरिजिनली सपोज उर्दू में लिखा हुआ है, तो आपको उसको ट्रांसलेट करना है इन इंग्लिश और इन योर वर्नाकुलर लैंग्वेज. So what you are going to do is कि आपका जो ओरिजिनल फॉर्मेट है, आपको सिर्फ कंटेंट का लैंग्वेज चेंज करना है. फॉर्मेटिंग मस्ट बी द सेम, एंड दैट इज व्हाट इज द रिक्वायरमेंट ऑफ ऑफिशियल और एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव ट्रांसलेशन. मतलब जो भी डॉक्यूमेंट आप ट्रांसलेट कर रहे हैं, इट शुड लुक लाइक दैट इट इज अ लेटर और एन एफिडेविट और एन FIR. Then we have the last form is transcreation. So transcreation is like when we use the source material given in one language and we recreate in, like for example, Ramayan is and Mahabharat, they are the source material for many other similar uh, recreations of Ramayana story. Even the TV serials you see on Ramayan again is a transcreation, and say their manner of dressing, the manner of presenting themselves, original content, original story, the characters, the main plot, the skeleton of the plot is still the same. सिर्फ जो उसमें आपने फ्लैशेस ऐड किए ऊपर से, वो आपने स्लाइटली एज पर द change in the scenario or requirement of the modern age, you have changed it, right? So just as in Ramayan serial also we have seen, it is a transcreation. Original plot, everything is same, but it is recreated into another form. But we are not changing the meaning. When you're transcreating, you're not supposed to change the meaning or style or context or tone, even the emotions that are conveyed. It should all remain the same. But we are simply changing it into a different form. So it was scripted, it was printed, then it is picturized, right? So that's what we mean by transcreation. Again, that's a translation. So,
Ma'am,
like for example, the original even language also we are changing. The emotion, the meaning, plot, everything is same for the TV serials, but the original plot, everything is same, right? The language is changed from Sanskrit to Avdi to now it is the modern Khadi Boli, the Hindi we call, or in the linguistic circles we call it Khadi Boli. So it's transcreated into Hindi. Yes, somebody was saying something. We'll move on to the sentence.
I'm talking about dubbed movies. We can take example in transcreation.
Dubbing is not it's not a transcreation. It's not a translation. ठीक है? Dubbing is a form of translation, of course, but it is not transcreation. Why? Because when it is transcreated, you may be changing the language. You may be changing the say, like originally it was in a written form, संस्कृत लैंग्वेज में है, वाल्मीकि ने लिखा है, फिर आप उसको तुलसीदास जी की भी आपने रामचरितमानस आपने देखी है, अवधि में लिखा है, फिर जब उसको टीवी टेलीवाइज्ड फॉर्म में बनाया जाता है, कैरेक्टर्स, एवरीथिंग, देयर मैनर ऑफ स्पीकिंग, जो ओरिजिनल स्टोरी है, जो प्लॉट है, जो कंटेंट है, वो तो सेम है, उसका स्पिरिट सेम है, मैसेज सेम है, इमोशन सेम है, राइट, उसकी स्पिरिचुअल इंटेंसिटी सेम है, बट जो उसका मैनर ऑफ प्रेजेंटेशन है या उसका जो क्या बोलते हैं लैंग्वेज है और मैनर ऑफ प्रेजेंट मोड ऑफ प्रेजेंटिंग वो चेंज हो गया, तो फ्रॉम स्क्रिप्ट टू बुक फॉर्म से आप टेलीवाइज्ड फॉर्म में चले गए, सो दैट इज ट्रांसक्रिएशन, right? Dubbing is just a translation where you will rely more on either literal or semantic translation, right? That is not transcreation, क्योंकि ओरिजिनल कंटेंट तो वही है, डबिंग का मतलब क्या हुआ कि ओरिजिनल प्लॉट, स्टोरी, कैरेक्टर सब कुछ वही थे, बस पीछे से उनकी आवाज बदल दी जाएगी, यही होता है ना डबिंग में।
यस मैम।
इसीलिए दे विल जो उनका लिपसिंग कभी कभी काम नहीं करता है, कभी कभी क्या मोस्ट ऑफन डब्ड मूवीज में लिपसिंग काम नहीं करता, तो आप अगर आप लिप मूवमेंट देखेंगे तो आपको कुछ भी समझ नहीं आएगा कि क्या बोल रहे हैं, तो डबिंग इज डिफरेंट।
मैम मींस रिक्रिएशन इज नेसेसरी।
Recreation is different. Transcreation is different. You are moving on to a different mode of present. In a transcreation, you are moving on to a different form, different mode of presentation. So from a scripted form to you are moving on to a cinematographic form. So that is transcreation. You change the form. Content, plot, story सब कुछ सेम है, बट आपका मोड ऑफ प्रेजेंटेशन वो बदल गया, आपका लैंग्वेज भी बदल गया, दैट इज ट्रांसक्रिएशन, दैट इज नॉट डबिंग। ठीक है, विल कंटिन्यू टुमारो।
मैम डबिंग कैन बी सिमेंटिक ट्रांसलेशन।
डबिंग कैन इंक्लूड बोथ सिमेंटिक एंड लिटरल ट्रांसलेशन, जहां पर आप लिटरल ट्रांसलेशन से आपका काम चलेगा, आप लिटरल ट्रांसलेशन करेंगे, जहां पर आपको